Welcome to another Tax Therapy Tuesday. On Tuesdays, we go live about all things concerning business, taxes, and finances. And on today, our topic is why mixing personal and business money is a silent tax bill. Ouch. Yes, that's the topic for today. If you are new to me, I am Chastity Grady and my company, Grady Tax Plus. It is our number one goal to make sure that we are keeping the IRS out of your pockets so that you can live a better life. Why? Because you deserve it. You deserve to live. And not only do you deserve to live, but you deserve to live a better life. And that's our goal. That's our goal to help you. That's why we provide educational lives for you. We provide tips to you, and we do that all for free because at the premise we want to make sure that you have the basics to live the life that you deserve to live. Not only that, but I am the go-to tax and business finance expert for social workers and therapists in business, primarily because my background comes from being a licensed clinical social worker. So I paired that with my giving you my behavioral insight along with my financial insight, giving you that together to bring you Tax Therapy Tuesday. Okay, so why mixing personal and business money is a silent tax bill? You're going to want to share this live out. Okay, as a matter of fact, let's just pause for a second and take the opportunity to go ahead and share this live out to your favorite tax groups, to your favorite. Hold on, y'all. Okay, as a matter of fact, let's just pause. I didn't mean to click on that. But anyways, to your favorite tax groups, or not your tax groups, to your favorite therapy groups, your favorite social work groups, to whatever groups that has entrepreneurs who need to know that mixing their business and their personal finances will have you having a silent tax bill. Okay, now that logistics is out of the way, so let's go ahead and get started. So I'm going to say something that might make you feel uncomfortable. Okay, I might say something that may make you feel uncomfortable, but it will save you money. And I'd rather you save money than allowing you to just be comfortable where you are, right? So if your personal and business money are mixed, okay, if they're mixed together, meaning you're commingling, that's another word, you're commingling your funds, okay, you are quietly overpaying in taxes, okay? Mixing money looks like, or commingling your money together looks like you paying your personal bills from your business accounts, right? I spoke with someone yesterday about them being a full-time entrepreneur this year, starting this year, and they said they haven't been paying themselves. And I said, okay, let me challenge you for a second. You mentioned that you are a full-time business owner. You have let go of your W-2 jobs. So how are you not paying yourself? How are you paying your bills, right? And so that's one of the things right there. Paying your personal bills from your business account. That's mixing money, right? Mixing money together, commingling. It also looks like depositing business income into your personal accounts. I see this often where some people, you may have like your main sources of income go into your business account, but maybe you have another source of income for your business that's not as much. Maybe it's a couple $100s a month, or maybe just a few thousand in a year. And you think, okay, that's okay to just deposit directly into my personal account. And it's not. That is commingling. That's mixing money together. It also looks like swiping the same card that you use for groceries to buy your business expenses, right? That's another thing that I see. Another thing with mixing is doing all the things that I mentioned and then saying you'll just sort it out later, right? You'll just sort it out later when it comes to your bookkeeping. You'll figure it out later. And you know what? Figuring it out later, that is a defense mechanism. Okay, I'm gonna give y'all some social work terms today. That is a defense mechanism, right? It's a maladaptive coping mechanism that you have adapted in order to continue to procrastinate in your business, to procrastinate in your personal life, so that you don't have to worry about things, right? Right? We get real comfortable. We get real comfortable with pushing things off, and I'll do it next week. I'll do it, next month, or I have some time, right? All of those things, it's just us delaying ourselves. It's making us procrastinate. It's basically, okay, a maladaptive coping mechanism, right? It's not a good coping mechanism that we have formed, and it's something that is hindering us, because then we find out, if you haven't already, that time goes by really fast. Time goes by really fast. We're less than 2 weeks away from being in March. The year just started, and we're already less than 2 weeks away from being in March. How much have you already said, I'll sort it out later, over the past month and a half? How much of that have already said, I'll deal with that later, I'll worry about that later, right? And later has you a month and a half behind. A month and a half doesn't sound very extensive, but that a month and a half turns into two, turns into three, four, five, six, seven, eight, nine, until it's a year later, and you're like, I don't remember nothing. I don't remember all of that, right? So sometimes it feels harmless that you may be commingling, that you may be mixing your personal and your business dealings together. It may seem like it's harmless, because you may think that, oh, but it's my money and I need it now, right? But it isn't harmless. It creates a tax problem, and I'm going to talk to you about four of them on today. You mixing your business and personal finances together, you commingling, it is creating a tax problem, and I'm going to talk to you about four of them on today, right? Okay, so let's get into it. Number one is deductions get missed. You start missing out on the tax deductions when you are commingling your funds, right? When your transactions are mixed together, your expenses get overlooked. I took on a new client last year who was full time. She's just started full time in business, and she had, up until the point of meeting me, she had been mixing her business and personal dealings together. And so we had stopped that. We got her connected into a bookkeeping software. She was instructed to, separate her accounts. However, because she had been commingling and mixing, if we did not go back and look at all the things that happened in her personal accounts, she would miss out on all the things that happened, right? She would underreport her income. She would underreport her expenses, all the things, right? And the main thing is, like I said, underreporting your expenses, which means that you will miss your deductions, right? And if your expenses are overlooked, your profit might look higher, right, than it is, meaning like it may look like you made more money than you actually kept, right? Your taxable income looks higher, right? Because you don't have any of the deductions offsetting that. And also your tax bill becomes higher, right? So it creates a massive problem if you are mixing things together, not accounting for the things that happen in your personal account. That would lead to you having a higher tax bill. And you have to remember, the IRS, they tax you on what's reported. They tax you on what you report. So if you don't report your deductions, your business expenses, your tax write offs, whatever you want to call it, then that will lead to you having a higher tax bill, right? Thus, your bookkeeping must be clean, right? Because if it's not clean, if it's not organized, you are voluntarily paying more. You are voluntarily paying more. And listen, our goal is to keep the IRS out of our pockets, not in. All right, number two, your profit is inflated. And I just alluded to this, right? I just alluded to this. If you're constantly transferring money back and forth, you don't actually know what your business is making, right? So that may lead to you overspending, undersaving for taxes, or assuming you're doing better than you are, right? But then that creates a surprise tax bill. You get surprised by that tax bill, and surprises equals a whole lot of stress. Surprises lead to a whole lot of stress. I see it far too often. I see it far too often when I look at someone's finances and I see a bunch of transfers going back and forth between the business and the personal account. And you might find yourself overspending, right? Overspending when you're not tracking this, under saving for taxes if you're transferring money back and forth, right? And you might have the assumption that, oh, I think I'm doing good. I've asked some people, how is your business doing financially? And they they think they're doing good. But when we actually clean up the bookkeeping and we go through everything, we see that, oh, you probably are not doing as good as you thought, right? And it comes with a surprise. It comes with a surprise tax bill because often another thing is that I'm going to get to some of this as well, but I'll just mention it here. Another thing is that when you're doing the bookkeeping wrong and you're estimating your financials and you're estimating your pay and you're estimating your taxes off of wrong numbers, that's also something that will lead to you having a high tax bill, okay? That's also something that will lead to you having a high tax bill, a silent tax bill, right? Okay, number three, you destroy your audit protection when you are commingling your funds, right? If your accounts are blended together, they're commingled together, it becomes harder to defend your deductions. It becomes harder to defend your deductions. So, in an audit, the IRS, they will request documentation from you. They will request receipts. They will request bank statements. They don't fully rely on bank statements, but they will use bank statements to confirm that you actually made the purchase. And when you have everything clean in your business account, when there's a clear separation, which is what the IRS likes. They like a clear separation. They like clear documentation, right? They like everything to be very clear, okay? Let's be clear. They like everything to be clear. And when things are not clear, if you have income and expenses over here in your business account and then you have things over here in your personal account, that can create some scrutiny, okay? You can be scrutinized for that because then it's like, how am I supposed to believe that just this one expense or just this not just one expense but just this one source of income have come through your personal account, right? Okay, because I talked to you about this before. Sometimes people have like a one source of income maybe coming in their personal, and then the rest of it come through their business. You may think that you are doing yourself a good service by keeping certain things in certain places, but you're really not. Because if you have some things going on in your personal account, well, now I want to look at everything. Now I want to look at everything because I don't necessarily believe that what you're trying to claim as income, what you're trying to claim as expenses, is truly that, right? So show me the receipts. I told y'all this before. The receipts matter, right? You need to keep up with your receipts. Do not throw your receipts away. Do not toss them away because if the IRS were to audit you, that is the proof. You saying, "Oh, I have it on my bank statement." You saying that, let's say, for example, Walmart is on your bank statement, just because Walmart shows up on your bank statement, that does not confirm that that was a business purchase. Because it only says Walmart. On your business statement, does it say that it was a printer? Does it say that it was notepad paper or it was pens or whatever? Does it say that on the bank statement? It does not. That's where the receipt comes in. And if the bank statement says $200, okay, let me see the receipt. What is making up that $200, right? What is making up that $200? So you keeping your things commingled, your business accounts and personal accounts commingled together, doing things over here in the personal, doing things over here in the business, it becomes harder to defend you. It becomes harder to defend your deductions because now there's more work involved, right? And we don't want to be sloppy, right? We don't want to be sloppy when it comes to our business. And I did not want to use that word, but it just came on out. When you are commingling your business and your personal expenses and income together, that is being very sloppy, right? We don't want to be sloppy in business, right? Someone had asked me a question in regards to should they get a LLC even if their business is part-time? And I said yes, right? Your clients, they don't know that you are operating your business unofficially, right? They don't know that. And what if your client were to know that you are not really operating your business to the fullest potential, that you are not protecting yourself, that you are all over the place with your finances? And guess what? They don't even have to know that, but the fact that you know that, it prevents you from really showing up and being the person you need to be for your clients. It prevents you from doing that. Why do I know that? Because I've heard it. I was speaking to people over the weekend where I was telling them, and they were telling me some of their story. I said, you know what? You continuing to live your life this way and avoiding your taxes, avoiding looking at the money, looking at the numbers, that is making you feel like you have that imposter syndrome in your business, right? Because now you don't feel like you're a real business owner, right? And they were like, you're right. I don't feel like I'm a real business owner because I don't have all of this managed. I don't have this in check. I don't have this in line. And then all it takes is for you to make a decision. All it takes is for you to make a decision that you are not going to live your business life that way. All it takes is a decision that, you know what? If I'm going to be in business, if I'm going to have my practice, if I am going to be an independent contractor, that I am going to treat myself how the IRS sees me. If the IRS were to walk into my office today, they are expecting to come in and see a polished business. A business that has the finances separated, a business that's organized. This is what they're expecting to make their jobs easier, right? But if they come in, if they were to come into you and everything is all over the place, right? Everything's all over the place. It's not organized. You got stuff coming in this account for your personal credit card, and it's all over the place, right? Then there's more. It's more work to be cut out. It's harder for you. Who wants to live their life that way when all you have to do is make a decision that I'm no longer going to live like this, that I actually want a better life for my business, for myself, so that I can operate in my fullest potential, so that my clients can get the me that they need to show up, right? Listen, okay, let me get to the last one. The fourth one of why commingling, why mixing your business and personal dealings together, why it creates a tax problem is number four is that you lose financial clarity. You lose financial clarity, right? And this is the part that people don't talk about. When your money is mixed together, your nervous system never relaxes. I talked to y'all about this last week. Your nervous system never relaxes. You have to remember, you are still a person. You are still a person. You have feelings. And sometimes we allow our feelings to dictate how we function. Sometimes we allow our feelings to dictate how we function. So if you're feeling anxious, if you're feeling insecure, if you're feeling sad, if you're feeling inadequate, all of that shows up in how you work in your business and how you operate in your business and how you show up for your clients. You know how you can tell when something's wrong with someone, when something is off with someone, when they're not really themselves? You don't think your clients see that, especially if they've been with you for a while? You don't think your clients pick that up when something is off about you, right? I'm being very direct because listen, I want to create change, right? I want to move you to make a decision, right? And so your nervous system, it never relaxes. So then that spills over into all areas, and now you feel inadequate. Now you don't feel like a real business owner. Now you're talking about, oh, I just have a little business. Oh, I just have this small business. Oh, it's just this. Oh, it's just that. Now you minimizing, you're watering down what you're doing, right? You're watering down what you're doing, watering down who you are, and now you can't even grow to your fullest potential. Now you can't even grow to where you can go in your business because you have watered it down. You have watered it down all because of the financial clarity that you're lacking, that you lose as a part of commingling, just by commingling your funds with your business and your personal. What? So, what that means for you, right? When you're doing this, because you don't actually know certain things, which helps you have financial clarity. Some of the things that can help you have financial clarity is when you know what you can pay yourself, right? When you know what you can pay yourself, that gives you financial clarity. When you know, okay, every 2 weeks I can expect to receive this amount for me to live off of versus, oh, I just, clients paid me, so I'm just transferring money because my bill costs $100, so let me transfer $100 to pay that. This next bill costs $500, let me transfer $500 to pay that. That's not how you should be operating your business. Even though we did not want to work for a job, work for an employer, and we'll talk about Fire Your Boss Friday on Friday, but let me just touch a little bit on it today. You may not want to work for an employer, right? You want to be full time in business if you're not already. You want to be. However, let me tell you something. You can learn a thing or two. You can learn a thing or two just by learning how to be a better employee. Just by being a better employee, you can learn a thing or two. Okay? We're like, I'm sick of this job. I want to be away from this job. But let me tell you, you can learn a thing or two by being a good employee. Because guess what? You either get paid once a month, you either get paid twice a month, every 2 weeks, whatever that looks like, every week. And you have to learn how to live your life based on that once a month payment or that twice a month payment or that weekly pay, whatever the structure is. You have to learn how to live your life based on that. And what happens is you get into entrepreneurship and you think that, oh, because the money is coming in, I see when the money is coming in, so I'm just gonna transfer and transfer and transfer and transfer. And now you don't know how to pay yourself. Now you don't know how much you're supposed to live off of. Now the business is cash poor, right? We never want our business to be cash poor. I talk about this in my when I'm training you on how to manage your money. And we're going to have an in-person event, y'all, coming soon. Oh my gosh, y'all. We're having an in-person event coming soon regarding this, okay? But what I tell you, just to give you a snippet, what I tell my clients is that your zero in your business account, it cannot actually be the zero, the number zero that you actually see. You have to train your mind to create a new zero in your bank account. And this is how you prevent yourself from being cash poor. This is how you prevent yourself from not having any money in your business. Okay? I'll talk about that more another time because I got to get through this live, right? Another thing that you don't know that helps you have financial clarity is how much to pay towards taxes. Oh my gosh, it's tax season right now, y'all, and I'm preparing tax returns and I'm seeing where people are not accounting for taxes and you have a tax bill. And now I have to give you the news that because you weren't being a good steward of your financial resources, because that's what it is. That's what it all comes down to. Okay, let's call it for what it is. Because you are not being a good steward of your financial resources, you now are subject to a tax bill that you may not have the finances to pay for, right? And that doesn't help you live a better life. You owing the IRS, you having to give 5 figures to the IRS, that does not help you live a better life. It does not. Okay? Is somebody telling you, oh, you don't have to pay quarterly taxes? Oh, you don't have to, you just pay it at the end of the year? Well, if you don't have the money at the end of the year, then what are you going to do? Then what are you going to do? Then what are you going to do? And so, another thing is that when you don't have the financial clarity, you miss out on knowing what actually belongs to the business. What actually belongs to the business, right? When you don't know, when you don't have, rather, the financial clarity, what actually belongs to the business? Sometimes you think that certain things belong to the business when it doesn't, right? That could be when it comes to paying yourself, when it comes to paying taxes, when it comes to saving, when it comes to investing, all the things, right? When you pay taxes, that expense does not belong to the business. That is a personal expense. You paying taxes, that is not a tax write-off, right? When you understand and we talked about this in my Understanding Small Business Taxes training, right? When you understand how taxes work, then you will have that financial clarity. You will have that financial clarity. When you understand, when you realize that based on your business structure will determine if you are truly paying business taxes or you are paying personal taxes. And all of you are paying a personal tax if you are a business owner, if you are not a C Corp. If you are not a C corporation, you are paying personal taxes. There is no business tax. There is no going on the IRS website and choosing business tax. If you do that, you're going to see if you're not 1120, if you don't have a business income to report from a nonprofit or a certain stipulation with a partnership, you do not have a business tax. Even if you're an S corp, you do not have a business tax. It's all personal. It's all individual. Okay. So that uncertainty is expensive emotionally and financially. Okay, emotionally because our nervous system, like I said, never relax. We're operating in anxiety, we're operating in depression and feeling inadequate, all the things. And then financially, it's expensive, right? Because I just told you, you're not accounting for taxes. So um, most people who mix money, they mix money because you didn't know any better. And I just told you, now that you know better now. Nobody explained it to you. I just explained it to you, right? Or you're just moving too fast, like you started the business and everything just happened so fast. Well, take a moment to slow down, Just take a moment to slow down, right? What should happen is that you need to make sure you have the separate accounts that's dedicated to the business, only use it for the business. Have your separate business, if you use credit, have your separate card just for that. Having clean bookkeeping, having a consistent way of paying yourself. Because all of this will create clarity. It reduces your stress. It reduces the taxes. Okay? So if you owe more than you expected last year, or you think you're going to owe more than you expect this year, if you feel like tax season is confusing every year, if you avoid looking at your numbers, then I want you to connect with me. Okay? I want you to connect with me because it is time to start treating yourself like the true business owner that you are so you can walk in your calling, so you can walk in your purpose and be the business owner that you can be to your clients, that your clients need you to be, rather. Okay? So on tomorrow, on Wednesday, February the 18th at 6:30 p.m. Central Standard Time, if you want to learn more about working with me, you want to know the technical side of things when it comes to working with me that I don't share on social media that often, where I'll share my screen, show you what it's like to work with me, how I position myself to help keep the IRS out of your pocket so that you can live a better life, then join me on February the 18th. That's tomorrow on Wednesday at 6:30 p.m. Central. I will be doing a live overview on Zoom. I'll also be answering any questions that you have. If you have any questions regarding my tax packages, right? Maybe you visited my website already. I've received some questions about, hey, which package would be for me, and I answer those during that segment on tomorrow night. Most of y'all fall into the gold package, which is where you have one business. You're not an S corp, you're not a partnership. You have one business, right? That's the gold package, right? If you have two businesses, two separate types of businesses, maybe you're a therapist and you're a travel agent. That is two separate businesses. That is the platinum package. If you're not an S corp, if you're not a partnership. So those kind of questions that I answer. But if you're someone, you're like, Chastity, I don't even need to show up to that. You know, I've been referred by you. I've watched your videos. I've heard about you. I've seen you, and I'm just ready to do the work. If you're ready to do the work and you're ready to go ahead and choose your tax package to get started, then I'm leaving a link for you, specifically for you, in the comments so that you can go ahead and sign up with me. Okay, I'm also leaving a link in the comments for those of you who want to use a spreadsheet to help you keep track of your business finances and expenses so that we can accurately prepare your tax return. So that we can accurately prepare your tax return. Time is moving by really quickly. And so Pretty soon you'll start seeing me talk about my 90-day bookkeeping bootcamp, which is my virtual class that I teach, where I show you how to manage your money. I show you how to pay yourself, how to account for taxes so you're never behind. That starts in the summer. So in April, you'll see well, actually, in April, yes, in April we'll have the links available for you, but we'll have some informational sessions coming up soon. So be on the lookout for that if you want to attend the virtual ones. The virtual ones starts in June. Okay, it starts in June, and then we'll also have an in-person event. We will have an in-person intensive coming up in October, right? In October. You don't want to miss that one, okay? That one will be in Atlanta. And so we'll have that coming up. Just stay tuned for all the links that will be coming up for you. Listen, the goal is for you to be financially successful. That is the goal. If you're in business, your goal, my goal for you, your goals for yourself is for you to be financially successful in business. Otherwise, what is the point? Otherwise, what is the point of being in business if you're not going to be financially successful? Okay, let's make it make sense. And let's make it make sense by looking at the numbers, okay? By not using our feelings to allow us to function a certain way. We're not doing that, okay? So, as I come to a close, y'all know I have to give my benediction, right? So if you have followed me long enough, if you watched a number of my videos, listen, I've been going live Monday through Friday for the past 30 days now. Okay, so if you've watched any of those videos, then you know that I am a follower of Jesus. What does that mean for you? Working with me, that just means that working with me, you know where my help comes from. Not that you need to be a follower of Jesus, you just need to know that I am. And the reason why I'm telling you this because my position in the kingdom, I've been commissioned to, and I have to be obedient to what God told me that I need to do and how I need to operate my business, right? This is a part of me being a kingdom citizen. This is a part of how I allow God to lead me in my business, right? And so, again, not that you need to be a follower of Jesus, but you need to know that I am and know that where my help comes from. And the reason why where I'm leading to is the scripture I'm going to share with you, because oftentimes, and this is encouragement for you, this is guidance for you when it comes to your business. Oftentimes we feel like, if you're someone who feel like you're not getting enough clients or you're not getting enough clients, well, are you showing up online? Are you putting yourself in position where people can hear your voice, right? In John chapter 10, the Jews, they were questioning Jesus. They were like, hey, if how long are you going to keep our soul in suspense? If you are the Christ, just tell us, right? And Jesus said, I told you, but you did not believe me. The works I do, they testify concerning who I am, but you do not believe me because you are not my sheep. My sheep hear my voice and I know them and they follow me. Let me pause for a second. When people hear your voice, it's something about your voice that are like, hey, that is the one. That's who I've been needing my whole life. That's who I've been needing to help me get to my next level. Because I heard something they said resonated with me. And so if you're not showing up, if you're not allowing people to hear your voice, you're just thinking that posting flyers all day, you're just thinking that you creating text posts all day is going to get you somewhere. For some people, if they've heard your voice in person, it will. But if no one has heard your voice, how do you expect them to follow you? How do you expect them to sign up with you if they do not hear your voice? That's why I go live Monday through Friday, because I have to get to the people who are assigned to my voice. Because if you hear my voice and you know my voice, then you will follow me. Then you will get closer to getting to your breakthrough. You will get closer to getting the financial success that you deserve to have in your business without IRS tax issues. And if I be silent, if I don't show up and allow you to hear my voice, then you will never follow me. You will never know that I am the one who is supposed to help you, right? You would never know if you do not hear my voice. So that's why I create opportunities for you to hear my voice Monday through Friday, offline, the Zooms that I do. So you can hear my voice, because I believe in scripture, that if you hear my voice, then you will follow. If you hear my voice, if it's something about my voice that resonates with you, then you will follow. Then you are my sheep that I'm supposed to shepherd. And if you know that I'm supposed to shepherd you in this season, then you'll follow. You'll sign up. Okay? So ultimately, though, if you hear Jesus' voice, you'll follow him. Okay? Ultimately, not a requirement to work with me, but you just need to know where my help comes from. Okay? All right. That completes this live. I hope y'all have an amazing Tuesday. Thank you for tuning in. If you're watching the replay, hashtag replay, hashtag replay. We'll be back here on Wednesday for our Wellness Wednesday, okay? Wednesday for our Wellness Wednesday, Thursday for our Talk to Me Thursday, and Friday for Fire Your Boss Friday. And I'll see you in the next one.